Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Another Round podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Grotman, and today we are going to be exploring the world of pizza. With me today, I have 3 absolute monsters in the pizza scene in Chicago. So I'm very excited today to talk with all of you guys. If you guys want to go around and introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
My name is Cecily Federighi. I am one of the owners at Pizz'amici.
I'm Enrique Huizar. I'm one of the owners of Novel Pizza.
I think that's the first time I've ever learned your last name. I'm Derrick Tung. I'm the owner at Paulie Logan Square and a partner at Paulie Wicker Park and Paulie Wheeling.
Awesome. So I think the first question that's on everyone's mind is, how the fuck do you get a Pizz'amici reservation?
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely keep tables off the books at Pizz'amici. So I leave availability for walk-in. And honestly, the easiest days to do that are Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'm always like, if you want to get in, come in on a Wednesday or Thursday. The wait's never really longer than like 20 minutes. Who knows what that is going to be after this episode.
Yeah, secret's out now.
But I do try my best. Like, I really want it to be a neighborhood spot that you could feel like you could walk into and, you know, grab a pizza or whatever. It's small though. We only have 42 seats. So that kind of, you know, it fills up quick. But yeah, we do our best to give people the opportunity to get in there, and reservations on Open Table drop 30 days out at midnight.
So it's the 42 seats by design. What did you mean to do it so that it would be harder to get in purposely? Because I feel like when we opened Logan, I was like, oh great, we've got like 150 seats, but we'll get 50 people in there and it still feels like the vibe's not right.
To be honest, like, we didn't have any backers or anything. So this was all just like, we did it ourselves, and it's like the size that we could afford, really. And I feel like it kind of just fits with everything that we've done so far. So, you know, if anyone's not familiar with our background, we started Eat Free Pizza. We would only have like 12 slots. You'd come to our house Friday night, have a pizza, beer on the stoop. And so it always was this sort of like exclusive thing, not by design, but just because that's what we had that was what we were able to do. And then from there, pizza, fried chicken, ice cream, you know, only having like 12 seats there, Kim's Uncle Pizza having basically no seats there, and, you know, a limited oven, and now to this space where it's like limited. I don't know. I just feel like maybe that's just our vibe.
This is like the biggest space you've had.
This is the biggest space we've had. So for us, like, it felt like 42 seats felt very approachable without going too crazy. Because, like, you know, we don't have restaurant background aside from like the last 5 years. And I don't know. It just felt accessible to us to be able to like start small. And I don't know. I kind of like it.
That's
like
amazing.
Gonna keep it that way, you know?
I love
it. I want to ask you guys, we're in Chicago and there's this constant debate about tavern style pizza and deep dish pizza. Which one is like really the authentic Chicago pizza? Obviously, if you're not from Chicago, everyone thinks about deep dish. But the sentiment seems to be, well, actual Chicagoans like tavern style and tourists get deep dish. I'm curious from the perspective of pizza shop owners, where you feel like that ecosystem is, where it's going, where you think it should be.
Well, I'm a Chicagoan, so that's all I ate, tavern style, you know, thin crust. I never ate deep dish. So I want to push that always, you know, like all Chicagoans do not eat deep dish. You know, only like when my family comes over here, they want to eat deep dish, but I tell them like, no, we're not eating that. I don't remember the last time I kind of ate deep dish, so...
Do you enjoy deep dish? It doesn't sound like you enjoy
really.
Deep dish.
I think it was like my 8th grade graduation. That was the last time that I ate like Giordano's or something.
I was going to say, it's got to be like a little Giordano's moment, right?
Yeah, and that was the last time I, you know, have deep dish. And I really want to tell like everybody that comes here, like, don't have deep dish.
It's all uphill from 8th grade graduation.
Right.
Giordano set it off.
Yeah.
I think I like them both, honestly. And you can't eat deep dish on a regular basis. Like, unless you're a monster, like constantly working out, 200 pounds of muscle on you, you just can't process all that. And you don't feel heavy. Good, right?
One slice is, and you're done.
One slice and you're done.
Yeah.
But I also remember being a kid at like, when I was 10, my first Illuminati's experience, and I was having a stuffed sausage pizza. I was like, this is amazing. I love this. And one slice was plenty enough for a 10-year-old, right? But yeah, I think tavern is the go-to. Tavern is the, like, every Friday night, I could eat this on a weekly basis with the family. Enjoy your local tavern style, or thin, whatever you want to call it, cracker thin tavern, whatever the appropriate or inappropriate term is now.
Yeah. Nobody,
who knows?
everybody says the tavern's not the way, but like the name of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's such a weird thing, and I at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters, right? Like people know what you're talking about when you say it, right? And I don't know. I just feel like
if you like it,
people sometimes want to be grumpy about things, and it's just like who cares? It's thin crust, cracker style, tavern style.
as long as you like it.
As long as you like it, as long as it's your pizza,
As long as it's delicious.
Yeah.
If I say tavern style or cracker style or thin crust, does that all refer to the same thing, or are there
I
differences?
believe so.
I think it's kind of the same, right?
I think we see it as the same. I think there are subgroups in Facebook and Reddit that will argue there's like a significant difference between these. And I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I think it's a little bit based on origin. Like, did it come from St. Louis? Did it come from Milwaukee? And honestly, a lot of it's so closely tied. I would not.
Yeah.
I don't stand by those arguments.
Yeah, we had a guy on the Chicago food subreddit like a few weeks ago who someone posted I forgot which pizza place, but they call it a tavern style. And they're like, I grew up in Chicago. I've been here for 40 years. It's thin crust. And
They all say that.
He got like so mad. He like started like calling them like slurs. Like it's horrible. Like, it's really horrible.
I think part of that too is like, yeah, maybe at the time, 40 years ago or whatever, like it was just pizza, right? People were like, just call it pizza.
Yeah.
But now like pizza has become such a culture and there's so many different styles in the city that you have to differentiate the different types, like there's grandma style, there's deep dish, there's pan pizza, there's, Detroit style. There's like so many different versions of pizza. You can't just call it pizza because then you're like, oh yeah, like the Neapolitan spot. And it's like, oh no, I meant pizza. And you're like, Detroit, and you're like, no, pizza. And it's like, what pizza? Because there's so many different kinds, now it's like at the time it was just deep dish or
Thin crust.
Yeah.
I feel like we've hit a point though where some cities are trying to design their own style of pizza, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is Albuquerque style pizza."
What's like the last example of that?
I just keep seeing stuff pop up in my feed, and they're like, "Oh, this new style of pizza popped up," and the difference is they top their pepperoni like a little differently. Right? There's Windsor style pizza for sure, and I've heard of that. And what they do is they take the pepperoni and they cut it into strips and top it. But if that's the only difference, I'm like, does this really qualify?
Oh, that's a lot of work.
I mean, not to. I think you can buy it that way.
Oh, like,
I think you might be able to buy it that way, or maybe they shred it somehow.
Interesting.
But part of me is no hate on Windsor, but part of me is kind of like, really, like if you change the topping a little bit, does it qualify as a whole different style?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a history there I don't get.
I know, like St. Louis, they have bagels where they cut them into strips, and to me, that's like insane as a Jewish person.
I'm sorry, what? Strip bagels?
Yeah, like-
how do you even eat that? How
Like
does that work?
do you dunk them or like?
I don't know exactly how they eat them, but they're like crostini shaped bagel slices. Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
It's very strange to me, but like that's what came to mind with the pepperoni thing. I also wanted to ask you guys, as it pertains to pepperoni, people seem to covet the cup in a pepperoni.
Oh yeah.
What is why is a cup better or worse? As someone who doesn't know that much about pizza.
I think it's preference.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what you like. We have two different styles of pepperoni that we carry. We do a halal beef pepperoni, and then we also do the cup and char.
Where are you getting your halal?
We Etzo.
Oh, okay.
But I like the cup and char because it does get that like crispy little edge, and I know like we're known for having like the crispy edges on everything, and I think it just like fits with our vibe. But it is just preference on what you like. The beef is also really good. It's not a cup and char, but
It's phenomenal. Etzo's beef pepperoni is better than a lot of pepperonis on the market.
so good.
period.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I don't know. And then there's a debate of under the cheese, on top of the cheese, or I'm a top of the cheese for most toppings. But yeah, I don't know. That cup and char though, just like those little crispy little
Chalices,
bits,
it's
it's so
oil.
good.
They're
Yeah.
so good.
What would you prefer under the cheese?
We do our Italian beef under the cheese, and we do our sausage under the cheese. Those are the only two ingredients and garlic. I guess we'll put garlic at the bottom on the top of the sauce. But yeah, I think everything else we put on top. Mushroom, any veggie is on top.
Interesting. We do a lot under the cheese. The theory is anything you want to protect from the heat goes under the cheese, right? So if you don't want it to char and crisp up or get that extra heat exposure, it goes under the cheese for us. Especially in the wood-fired oven, where 900,000 degrees, it's crisping up really fast. So then the cheese creates that like layer to kind of protect it. So like our pepperoni pizza, we'll do one layer under the cheese and one layer on top of the cheese too. So now you have chewy pepperoni as well as crispy pepperoni. You kind of get both textures. But the pepperoni thing's crazy. Like if you look at old 80s commercials, there was from pizza magazines, they talk about like pepperoni that stays flat. That was the thing. That was like, you don't want pepperoni
Yeah, I
that
think
curls.
the cup and charges came along not that long ago.
Became a hot thing.
And I think that was the issue, right? Before that, they didn't want it to cup.
Oh, for sure.
They wanted it to be flat.
And
so
Which is so interesting.
yeah,
It's a trend.
But it,
Yeah.
It's a
I
trend.
think it's tastier, like the cup and char, like how it like gives it that little texture.
I
It
like
gives
it.
it a different taste too.
Yeah. But is it I mean, is it just because it's different than what we're used to that now it's become a
Right.
trend? And is it going to change back like another 20 years from now? People are like, oh, we're sick of cup and char. Let's go to flat pepperonis again. Right?
Maybe.
Like, you never know.
What is it exactly that you do to the pepperoni to make it cup?
I think it's because it's cut smaller.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller disc that it just naturally like cups up under the heat.
Okay.
It just because it's
yeah.
flat generally, and then when you just cook
put
it,
it on
just
flat,
like
yeah.
it just
Yeah.
the heat just makes it curl up.
Okay.
So you need that natural casing. That helps a ton. And then the certain thickness or thinness will also cause whether it can cup or not. If it's too thick, it won't cup. Too thin, it also won't cup. I learned this the hard way. When I was on Guy's Grocery Games, I cut my pepperoni too thick and it didn't cup up and it wasn't as pretty. But we did testing. There's a whole, like, do you guys follow Serious Eats? Mm-hmm. There's a whole Serious Eats article back in, I want to say like 2010, where he tests all the different pepperonis and cuts them to different like millimeter thicknesses to figure out what's the best cupping ratio and stuff like this. I feel like that's when it started getting hot, but it's a super interesting science article about pepperoni.
Yeah. Okay. That's
If you want to nerd out on
no,
pepperoni.
that sounds really interesting. I want to ask you, Derrick, about how you came into the Detroit style of pizza in Chicago. In my heart, I want to believe that the shops in Logan Square and the Detroit style is the squares, and that just sounded cool. But I'm sure there's a more sophisticated answer.
I mean, honestly, so before we opened the shop, I spent about 2 years with my wife just like taking vacations when I could. And we were saving up for the restaurant at that point. So we were basically taking out a map and saying, where do we have friends that we could crash on their couch? Where can we drive to? And then how does that tie up with the top 100 pizza list of the best pizzerias in the US? So we hit maybe 30 or 40 of these places trying to just get to pizzerias and trying different things. At some point, we passed through Detroit. I was like, well, we've heard of this place called Buddy's. I've never had Detroit-style pizza. Let's check this out. And then we pulled up, got it, sat in the back of the car because we were like ready to just go to the next location, get home after a long trip. And we tried it. I'm like, this is spectacular. Like crispy on the bottom, fluffy on the inside, all these flavors and textures. I just fell in love with Detroit-style pizza at that point. And then when we opened the Logan Square location, we're like, it'd be fun if we called it Logan Squares. And part of it was I didn't want to call it Detroit-style pizza because we weren't doing a traditional Detroit-style pizza. We changed the edge cheese. Normally it's... What's the cheese that we put on the Detroit-style pizza on that edge normally? I'm blanking right now because the coffee's hitting my brain. Cheddar's the modification that we use. Okay. But in traditional? Yeah, there's a traditional one, and I forgot the name of it. But we don't use that cheese. And then we made some differences. We started par baking it instead of doing it from like a raw dough. So we made a lot of little changes. And it wasn't until Sean Rondazzo, who is one of the world pizza champions, who introduced Detroit basically to the pizza community in the world. He won Best Pizza in 2000 something. He came by and he was like, you have my blessing, call it Detroit, you're doing everything right. Like, so I was like, all right, I can call it Detroit at this point. But
yeah, can you explain par baking to people that are not in the pizza world?
Sure. Par baking is when you start baking something and just get it to a certain temperature to hold, whether it's for reasons of holding texture or something else. So in the pizza world, we par bake our doughs. What that means is we'll take that dough and we'll put it in the oven and bake it so that it starts expanding, the gluten structure starts stabilizing, and then you basically have a lightly toasted bread. And then from there, you can hold it almost indefinitely. You throw it in the freezer, you can hold it for up to 6 months, and then you can use that dough whenever you need it. I know there are some places that do tavern style or thin crust par baked as well. It just depends on what your process is and what you're trying to achieve. We have a variety of reasons why we chose to par bake instead of doing raw dough. A lot of it was just because we don't know how to handle the volume. There are places like Buddy's that only do it raw dough, and they sell probably hundreds and hundreds of pizzas a night. I don't understand their process of consistency. So that's why we par bake.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm like, they must have a proofing room or something where they can really control temps.
You have to,
Yeah.
because you have to be pulling, right? Because you have to be pulling and knowing exactly the right amount to pull and the timing on that. Like
Yeah.
that's That's a lot.
Or not care about the consistency.
Yeah.
Which is possible too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've definitely had buddies that wasn't as good as the first experience I ever had.
You guys par bake your tavern, right?
No, we don't. We sheet out on
You sheet
site.
to order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're not air curing it, right?
No,
You're not dry
we're
curing.
not.
You guys are dry curing.
We air cure, and then cold ferment for like another 7.
7. How do you even have space for 7 days?
Ooh, we just built a beautiful walk-in.
Oh, I gotta come visit. I gotta see this new one.
Oh my God, it's been a lifesaver.
Oh.
I don't even know how we survived before.
Wait, did you say basement? You have a basement?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw the basement.
Oh yeah, it's wide open. 2,000 square feet of storage. It's lovely.
So
Yeah.
what does this 7-day cure do for the pizza?
So I just think it builds flavor. I think that once you air cure it to the point where you can hold it and stack them, because that's what we do. We stack them on racks and then we put them back in the fridge for another 5 to 7. It kind of just depends on like how we're selling and, but I think that it just builds flavor. We also just switched to sourdough. So we changed the recipe. Yeah. Yeah, so we're doing sourdough now and then the 7-day cure. So it just helps build flavor on the crust.
Do your guests notice the difference?
I think so, because people have like, Subu is like he
Subu's
notices
like a
everything.
super taster. He's like
really
a
is.
pizza, yeah.
Yeah, but he's like noticed. I mean, customers have noticed. They're like, why is this the best one that we've had so far? Like, I think that Billy's always tinkering and improving and trying to make things better and always changing things slightly, even if it's by like 1%. So yeah, we started doing that maybe like a month ago now.
Okay.
And it's really good.
So you're just giving everyone more reasons to get reservations and come in again and again.
Yeah. We're changing. About to drop the new specials for June this week.
You got a hint? What's going on?
Well, we're still kind of like working through it a little bit. I think that I really want to do like, we were talking about doing like oysters and stuff like that. And then we were like, I really like tinned fish.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
so we're kind of
super trendy
obsessed.
right now.
Yeah, we're kind of obsessed with tinned fish. We go to All Together now all the time and just like get like a smorgasbord of like different tinned fishes to try. And so I think we might do like a little tin mussel, and that has like this mixture of like seasoning and breadcrumb and cheese and all of that on top and like baked, and then just serve with like saltines or maybe like a little focaccia cracker. We're still kind of like R&Ding it a little bit, but I think that's going to be one of them. And then we were just talking about it today. What was the other? Oh, I think we're going to try to do the pesto rosso pasta salad that we did for Sportsman's. I think we might run that for June.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a sun-dried tomato pesto pasta, and it's really good. So
Sounds awesome. Big tin fish fan.
I know, it's the best. I love tin fish.
It's so good.
So I think those are 2 ideas that we're playing with, but we'll see. We'll see what happens this week.
I just thought of it. It's brick cheese. That's the traditional
Brick,
in Detroit.
yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's
My Alzheimer's kicking in. I'm like, I gotta get this out. I'm like,
That's what we would do our Sicilians with. We did it with brick cheese for a while.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
on top or like on the side or
On top, yeah.
Okay.
Like we would slice, we would do sliced brick on top of the Sicilians.
why brick over mozzarella or some other cheese?
Just like the flavor of it the best.
It's creamier. It's nice. It's like-
creamier. Yeah, it was really good. I don't know if we're gonna continue. I really want to bring the Sicilians back at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know when, or maybe that'll be a special. We're doing a little pop-up this Sunday where we're gonna do the Sicilians, but it's kind of been that, like, we've just been doing it with like these fun little pop-up type things. And we haven't gone back to the brick yet, but maybe we'll go back to brick. It is really good.
I know. When we opened, you couldn't get it in Chicago. It was so hard to get. And that's the other reason why we did cheddar too. But now you can get it. I'm like, do we go back? No, I think I still like white cheddar better. Yeah.
What about a novel? What's the dough process?
The dough process, it's about a 24-hour rest. Like, well, I make it and then I just let it rise for like 24 hours, and then
You do like a bulk rise?
yeah, and then we ball it up, and then we use it the same day. The next, once we ball it up, we use it, and we just sheet it out per order.
What kind of sheeter are you guys using?
We had a Somerset.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a old one,
Colborne.
Yeah, I
that's
have
what we
one, but that one's in storage. But I that's where I learned on one of those.
The Colborne.
Yeah, but
That's for novel 2, right? For the
I hope
next
so.
novel.
One day, maybe one
There we
day.
go.
one day.
If there was a neighborhood that you'd go to, what do you think you'd be interested in?
I'm not sure.
Or like staying in the same neighborhood?
I would like the same neighborhood,
Yeah.
but I would like to make one in like my old neighborhood, like Brighton Park. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
In McKinley Park, that's where I grew up. that'd be kind of cool to bring back, like, you know, like where I lived, where I grew up on, you know, have community kids
families
working there.
Yeah.
You know,
would you do the exact same menu, or do you think you'd have some different stuff at that spot?
oh yeah, if we had a bigger space, yeah. I my kitchen's so small, we could just, you know, make pizza. We don't have.
How many square feet do you guys have? Because I think you're like almost the same size as Kim's out in Westmont, right?
Oh yeah, it's small. I think we're small. 600 square feet.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's really small.
That's
small.
tiny.
Do you guys have a walk-in?
No, we just
Wait, how are you doing without a walk-in? Are you just selling out all the time?
no. I just gotta order,
like
you know,
every day?
like adjust my orders.
So you get delivery almost every day or every other day then?
yeah, like twice a week.
Twice a week.
Yeah, and if I run out, I just go and get stuff. But
You
I
going
try
to,
to.
like, Restaurant
I already
Depot
kind of have it dialed in. Where like this is how much I fit.
know.
This is how much I use, and that's pretty much it. I have two
That's tough.
side coolers, you know, and a freezer.
But business is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. I'm like, you guys are all over my feed all the time.
Yeah.
So like, that's phenomenal.
Are you guys 7 days?
No, we were
Okay.
closed Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, like us too. Yeah, Mondays, Tuesdays.
I kind of miss those days.
It's so nice. Billy keeps wanting to push for 7 days, and I'm like, no. I'm like, we get here at 9 a.m., we leave at 11 p.m. I was like, I cannot do that 7 days a week. I'm sorry. I need Mondays and Tuesdays to reset.
And you can't
Do
even
laundry.
fully reset. We talked about
Really?
this. You can't even fully reset because like
No,
you
because
know,
you're still
days
thinking
off.
about everything.
You're thinking about it. You're getting emails.
He's there right now.
You're getting work done.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the day your trades
100%.
come in if you need to get something done, get something cleaned out. Like,
Yeah.
It's
It
it's
never stops. It never stops.
We only went to 7 because at some point I'm like, we're still paying every single day. Like, unless you own your building, it just made sense to try to get to 7. And if you have a strong enough crew, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for us. I think as soon as we have like a crew, and our team is great, but it's still the first 6 months. You know, it's still early to like leave it. You wouldn't leave a 6-month baby at home, so we're like not ready to leave it.
Is that, you're not supposed to do that? Oh.
So I think, and the team has been really great. We left them on Sundays to do Sportsman's, and they did an amazing job. So like it's getting there, and I think that once we have like another me and Billy, then maybe another me, Billy plus one, then we can like start to
baby steps.
pull ourselves a little bit more out of there. Maybe open on Tuesdays, you know, that kind of thing. So
And they
we'll
could
see,
handle
but
that. It's hard to leave them.
It's hard, yeah.
My crew is good too, but I just gotta babysit them. You know,
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
guide them to everything because it's hard. You know, and it's like we already have it dialed in. That for them, they don't have it dialed in yet, and it's just like really hard to just leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even when you find good crew too, they can't. No one wants to work 7 days. Like you can't have them work. So you have to find enough good crew that's got enough experience to like embody everything you want culture wise that you can walk away and be like, okay, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That takes time.
tough. Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
For sure.
Let's talk about sauce.
Ooh.
What can you guys kind of walk through your sauce philosophies?
We keep ours really, really simple. It pretty much comes straight out of the can. We might add a little bit of water, might add a little bit of salt. We'll when we were pulling naturally peeled tomatoes, we would grind them down, but we're now pulling mostly crushed tomatoes. Our Wheeling location though, in the suburbs, we amped up the sauce a little bit. So our manager, Tony, our managing culinary partner, who's responsible for all the ideas and all the flavors and profiles now, he firmly believes that the suburb folks just need a little bit more hit of flavor. So we season it up a little bit. Our Worker store, we've also got like a special sauce that's on the sweeter side. So we do 2 sauces over there. And then we have 2 different types of tomatoes for the 2 different types of pizzas at Logan Square.
How do you determine which pizza gets which sauce at the Wicker store with the 2 sauces?
So for the Detroit style, because of how much cheese and how much density of flavor there is in that cheese, we wanted a sweeter sauce. So we went with kind of tasted and wanted a profile that was just a little bit brighter, a little bit more acidic. For the wood-fired pizza, we wanted to melt a little bit. We wanted to be more subtle. And so we went with one that just a little bit more balanced, and we add a little salt to help counterbalance it.
Are you just using sugar to make it sweeter or something else?
No, it's just natural. We don't put any, the Wheeling location might have some sugar in the sauce. The ones in, the ones at Logan Square are all just like pure straight out of the can with very minor edits.
Okay.
Yep.
What about at Novel?
They're out of the can and a lot of seasoning, oregano, garlic, you know, a lot of seasoning to give it that flavor. Because you need to have a little bit of flavor in there.
Yeah. Is it a secret recipe?
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's straight out of the can, just and seasonings, a bunch of seasonings.
Yeah.
And a bit of water.
Yeah. I think that's the classic Chicago sauce, though. I think like oregano and other herbs have become very much a Chicago style pizza sauce, right? And I think it depends on what you're trying to emulate a little bit. So I don't know.
What about Pizz'amici?
We do a cook sauce. We do a 7-Eleven and same, oregano, garlic, red pepper. Our sauce has a little kick to it. We put like a decent amount of red pepper in there, salt, and then we cook it down. So the cooking down gives it like a little bit of that sweetness, but like naturally. So we're not adding like any sugar or anything like that. But yeah, that's what we do for the tavern style.
Are you Novel Pizza Stainless House too sauce, or do you guys use
7-Eleven and Full Red?
Yeah, we're using 7-Eleven and the Tomato Magic. I was playing with Super Dolce for a little bit. You guys ever play with that one? No. It's like crazy. It's like tomato paste, but
Is it
extra
Stanislaw?
sweet. Yeah, yeah. They don't have it. It's not easily accessible for some reason. I don't know. I think you can get it through Greco though.
We use 7-Eleven, and then we were using Saporito when we were doing the round pies, like the kind of more artisanal style. And the Saporito was just salt, and we would stick blend it and just put salt, not cooked.
Yeah.
So that was that one. But other than that, we haven't. And then the tavern gets tomato paste too. Put tomato paste in there.
I mean,
Just
when
a
the
little
tomatoes
moody.
are that good, right? You don't have to do too much to them sometimes.
Yeah. Honestly, it is really good. It's a good product.
Moving up the pizza ingredients, let's talk about cheese. I know you kind of brought up your cheese philosophy with the Detroit style. Is there, like, for the other style of pizza, do you use different cheeses, or how do you think about cheese when you're making pizza?
My primary mozzarella is Galbani. There's Galbani, and then what's the other big player out there?
Grande.
Right. And so for us, we've done like double blind taste tests of both cheeses, and most of our staff prefer the Galbani. And so we've stuck with the Galbani all the way through. And that's been good for us. I've also they've also brought me on, and so now they're sponsored as well. So now I'm like, okay, well, I have to continue to use Galbani. But I do love their cheese, which is great. So it works out well. I know there are some new players in the market too. I feel like on the podcast, I'm always hearing about
I don't know.
Baccio. I'm hearing about Baccio. I haven't tried their stuff yet.
I haven't tried that either.
But I've heard their stretch is really good. So I don't know. I mean, at some point I'm going to try everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely a Galbani shop.
I use Grande, the East Coast blend.
It's a good blend.
I was using I was trying out a lot of cheeses, and I think that was like the best melt for my pizza, and like it got that color that I want. So I just chose Grande, which is I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use Grande as well. We use a mix of Mott's and Provolone. We mix it in-house. It's like a 4:1 ratio. And then we also use their Avorio. We only use that. That's their fresh Mott's.
Oh.
We only use that on the cheese pizza. We just cut it in little cubes, and it just kind of like makes for like nice color and,
Little puddles of fresh mozzarella.
Yeah, like it creates like a nice color on top. So we use that, and we use a ton of pecorino. We do pecorino on top of the sauce, and we do fresh grate on top of all the pizza. So you get like the saltiness from that.
I feel like that's your signature. You guys make it
We
rain pecorino on the finish, right?
Put pecorino on everything. I think the only menu items that don't have pecorino on them are the caponata and the sausage and peppers. Every salad has pecorino on it. Like, we just love pecorino.
Gelato. Put pecorino. You should find a gelato.
A little like olive oil and pecorino on top of gelato. Like, that'd be so good.
What kind of gelato? Just a vanilla, you think?
Yeah, I think so, right? You can't go too crazy.
Let me know when you're ready to test.
There's some restaurants that have done cheese ice cream with olive oil
good.
on top, and it's unbelievable.
So good.
Cellar Provisions does it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Salt, like a molten salt on top of gelato is like so good.
Like salt on chocolate chip cookies. It
The
just
best.
brings everything
The
out,
best.
right? Brings out that sweetness.
So
It's
good.
really
Yeah.
good.
I don't know like what ice cream wouldn't be improved with a little Maldon on the top. But
That's true.
I mean, whatever without Maldon on top.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just brings everything to like the next level, it's the best.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So as someone who I've never made pizza. I've never owned a pizza shop.
We should fix that. I think you should
Just
tour
open
each of our
one. Just
shops.
open one.
We should
Yeah.
throw you on the line. Maybe on a Tuesday night
Okay,
instead. But you
yeah.
should come over and like do a little, behind the scenes with us.
Hey, you know what? I'll stage.
Let's do it.
Something as a guest at pizza shops that I always find interesting is most pizza places will have a bunch of like pre-made set pizzas. Like there'll be maybe a buffalo chicken pizza or whatever. But you could also make a custom pizza with the same ingredients, and it's gonna be way more expensive. And my feeling is like, why is it more expensive to do a custom with the same ingredients versus a pre-made one? Typically, because the food cost is the same.
We don't do set pizzas, so
You have
I
all
can't
custom?
speak on it. Everything's custom.
It's all custom.
Yeah, we do
That's
all
what made me
custom.
think about it when I was looking at the Pizz'amici menu. It was just
Choose your own.
Choose your own menu.
But then I'm like, maybe like if I owned a pizza shop, I probably would feel that most guests don't have a good enough palate to make a good pizza, and then they make some custom like monstrosity, and they say our pizza is terrible.
Luckily, yeah, right. And sometimes you're just like,
I'm
oh,
like,
no.
it's not gonna taste good. Like, you're not gonna taste nothing.
Yeah, you're like,
just
girl,
gonna
no,
taste.
please.
I don't know what.
Our servers are really good about directing people in the right way, in a nice way.
Right.
And also saying no to things that we don't want to do. Because, like, basically, like, don't ask for extra cheese. Like,
Yeah,
that's just not what
exactly.
we do.
Yeah.
And
Because
if you
it's gonna
want
be all
that,
over the place,
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna be all over the place. The crust isn't gonna be able to hold up the integrity. And if that's what you want, that's fine. I just don't think that we're for you then, because that's just not what we do, and that's okay. We don't have to be for everybody. You know what I mean? So like our servers will say it in the nice way possible. And
How does your server say it? I want to hear
so
it.
Gio, I don't know if you met Gio, but he's the best at it, and he's just super personable in general. Like he's the loudest person in the dining room, and he's just working the room the whole time. And he will just be like, "Hey, listen, chef back there works 80 hours a week. He's like, he's not gonna like seeing that pizza go out, so I'm not gonna do that to him. So let me recommend this," and then he'll like direct people in a different direction,
Yeah.
in like a nice way that still like feels like a friend like telling you, you know what I mean? So he's good at doing that, and like like the extra sauce, the extra cheese, like it's
Yeah.
just not, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, I put a good amount of sauce and a good amount of cheese.
The perfect balance.
Right.
You create the perfect balance.
Right.
You've done
And
it a million
people-
times. Yeah.
People want extra sauce and extra cheese. I'm like, it's gonna be sloppy.
Messy.
So how do you turn down people?
Well, online ordering. We just started online ordering, so people do that.
That's tough.
And
so
it's
do you,
like-
do you stop and like
I
make the
call
phone
them,
call?
yeah, like, hey,
Oh, man.
or I tell them like,
That's a time commitment.
Hey, do you guys really want all these toppings on the pizza? Because they'll add on like so many toppings, and it's like when you do that, you don't taste one of the products. Like you miss out on the whole
just a
thing.
mess, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I try to keep it basic. Like just I don't know. I just don't like
On our
all
menu,
those-
we write, recommended like no more than 3 toppings.
Yeah, because then it's a pancake.
But do people
works
see it? Do people read it and do they respect it?
I think so. For the most part, yes. For the most part, yes. And then there's certain toppings in there that we don't include in the 3, like, right? So like garlic or capers. Like that's not really going to add weight and heaviness. But if you're like, I want artichoke, mushroom, green pepper, onion, sausage, then you're just like,
right.
this is going to be too much. And it's such a thin crust that it's not going to feel balanced. It's not going to feel right. So we usually steer people away. And honestly, like we haven't really run into much of it. We used to see it a lot more at Kim's with people like doing way too much. And there you take all the orders by phone. So like we would tell people like, listen, like if you want to do this, this is fine, but just know like it's not like the best for the integrity of the crust and this and that. Like if we're known for having the crispy crust, like it might not be that. So I hope you're not like wanting to.
That's so hard
Right.
to have
It's
that
hard.
conversation
It's
while
hard,
like
yeah.
your other 2 phones are ringing still with people trying to order, and you're like,
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's tough, but we do it. And luckily we haven't run into too much of it at Pizz'amici. People are pretty, I think they get it, which is good.
So at our Logan Square location, the whole pizza menu is pretty much not build your own. We have one build your own pizza, wood fired, and it's like you said, if you decide to build it out piece by piece, it's more expensive. And based on the conversation, it's kind of a disincentive, right? The whole idea is we want you to try the pizzas that we've painstakingly built with the ratios that we feel play the best. So we're happy to take off something. So if you're ordering one of our pizzas and you have an allergy or you really dislike a specific ingredient, you can take it off, but we don't we don't allow add-ons or build your own outside of like some core basics.
What about a substitute? Would that be okay or no?
No, because that's like an add-on.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're subbing like vegan sausage for regular sausage because of a dietary restriction, or halal pepperoni for regular pepperoni, yes, we're happy to do that if it's already in our wheelhouse.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but if you're like, oh, well, you know what, I don't really like pepperoni, let me throw sausage on here instead. Well, there's a reason why we put pepperoni on this specific build with these 4 other ingredients. You throw sausage on there, it changes the texture, it changes the flavor. Yeah. Is that a little egotistical? Maybe. But for the full sit down service, what we're trying to avoid is exactly that. We don't want a guest to come in and be like, well, I want these 7 ingredients, and then say this pizza was terrible.
Right.
Well, you built the pizza. This is going to be a super awkward conversation at this point, right? But we will direct them towards our Wicker Park location or our Wheeling location where they can build their own. And that one's a little bit more friendly in terms of, because we do a big New York style pizza, and the concept behind there is, we have these 6, 7, 8 pizzas that we've worked really hard on. But if you want to build your own, this is where you get to play a little bit more.
Yeah. I feel like chefs should lean more into like being a little bit more egotistical, because almost necessarily they're going to know way more than the customer about how the flavors interact, how their own ingredients mesh together, how for pizza, how that all plays in the pie. Like I would never, maybe I know there's tons of guests who think they're food geniuses who have never worked in a restaurant, but I think we should lean into that. Even though you get more people complaining. Yeah. I think overall, though, the average experience is probably going to be better.
I think you have to have guests that are willing to be led to that, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think our first 4 years, we definitely had a lot of guests that came in and were like, what do you mean I can't build my own pizza? Right. Because we grew up in the 80s, 90s of Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, whatever it was, where you got to build your own pizza. The whole point was you built your own pizza. And they didn't really have, too many pre-builds for you to select from. And then the Chipotles of the world and stuff like that. It's just becoming this build your own concept more and more. But when you take that much time to build a pizza, I would rather try what one person's vision is for a pizza. And that's how I eat. I don't go to a shop and say, oh yeah, well, change that steak and change that side and change that hamburger the way I want it. Show me what you wanted and let me be inspired by it.
Yeah. I guess maybe that a better way to phrase it would be, more restaurants should just have this is how we do things. If you don't like it, fuck you.
That's true.
Go somewhere else.
But there's people that want to tell you how you should do it. And
oh my gosh. So many.
Bro.
Yeah.
From
this
running
is how
it
I do it
to baking
the amount
it.
of tickets that we get that are like, can you cut it into triangles? And we're
my God.
No. Billy writes little notes on the ticket, kind of making
a joke,
making a joke or poking a little fun or whatever, but being light about it in a way that's just no, this is dumb. Why'd you ask for that? People that say if you have ranch, put ranch. And I know that's such a polarizing thing with pizza and stuff like that, but we don't have ranch. So he'll write if you go to the hidden valley and you find the end of the river, there you will find your ranch. He'll write stupid little things to just
He's
kind
a
of
poet.
kind of be funny about it.
Oh man, we've had people bring in their own Hidden Valley ranch and sneakily out of the purse and pour it on into a cup. I'm like, you're driving me crazy.
Yeah. I don't understand the dippers that we get. Dippers, you guys get dippers? Well, I just need to dip my pizza, and I'm like, why?
No, we haven't had that.
You haven't had dippers?
You have thin crust though. People, are you dipping the crust? That makes no sense to me.
Someone the other day asked for olive oil so that they could dip the pizza in, and I was
just the whole pizza,
the squares, the slices, dipping it in olive oil.
Wow. That sounds insane to me, but I almost want to try it now just to try it and then verify that this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know. I'm just I don't understand it, but
I think we should try that today. I think each of us should go back to our shop and pour a cup of olive oil,
get a
slice and dip it. Yeah.
We started making a giardiniera aioli, and so we're
that sounds great.
It's really good actually. But we're if you want something to dip in this.
Yeah, and then what do you charge them for it?
I think it's $2.50 for a little 4-ounce ramekin.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to ruin your palate with it.
If you want to dip.
If you want to dip, you got to pay to dip.
And then the other one we get is people ask for pizza sauce on the side.
Oh, we get that a lot.
And I'm I just want to let you know, this is not hot held. So you're going to get a side of cold ass pizza sauce.
Right.
People are that's fine. I'm Okay.
That's what people do ask for them. Like, well, it's not hot.
Yeah.
You got to charge for it.
Yeah.
You got to charge for it.
I charge for
You
it.
gotta make
Yeah.
it make sense. Like,
We charge for it. But
we
I'm
used to
just
not
like,
give
so
it out.
weird.
We used to totally not give it out. And then at some point we're like, why are we not giving this out? If
Yeah.
they really want pizza sauce to
Yeah.
dip in, and if we're going to charge them for it, sure. Why not? That's up to them.
That's
But we
kinda
cut
how
the
we
ranch out. There was a point where we had like a Togarashi ranch like on the salad, and people see it and they're like, oh, there's ranch in the house. Let me get a side of that ranch. And then they would take it and pour it before they even try the pizza. They would just pour the ranch all over the pizza. And I'm like, listen, it's your food. You can eat the way you want to eat. But if it's your first time here, that's
Don't do it.
no, right?
I
Like it gets back to like the
It's
vision
so
and the testing and all the work we put into it.
Yeah, it's
so we
so
took ranch off the
frustrating.
pizza, and so or off the menu.
Yeah.
And so we had a month of specials where it was. We always do 3 rotating specials. So we had like 2 Detroits and 1 wood-fired special, and all 3 had ranch highlighted. And we said, this is your last time you're going to be able to get ranch in this house. Come get it. Come enjoy it. Blah, 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 blah. And I forgot what I said, but a bunch of people got really offended by it. They're like, what, you think I'm trashy because I like ranch? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like...
You're like, yeah, kind of.
I mean, I love ranch. I love ranch as a pizza.
Not
but
on
like,
pizza, though.
just try, like, if it's designed to be on a pizza, sure. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
If you're going to pour it all over a pizza before trying it, I'm like, you know. With like a bready crust, I can see dipping a little bit of ranch.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
Yeah. Can you get ranch at Novel Pizza?
Yeah, we have ranch, but people were asking for it, so
do they ask for it
Yeah.
on top of the pizza ever?
no, not on the
Not yet.
pizza. No, I wouldn't
Not
put it
yet.
on the pizza. I'll put it on
You
the
would,
side.
you would say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Is there one where you were just like, oh, we're not making that pizza?
No, I never had that situation where like,
You'll make whatever as long as you have it.
yeah, but like I said, I don't like putting a million toppings on one pizza.
Yeah.
Because I think it kills the flavor of everything.
Yeah.
We'll dial back the toppings. So if someone uses our build your own, we understand that there's a certain amount
Yeah.
of weight, a certain amount of moisture that has to
Yeah.
be held on that pizza. And if you put too much, like the pizza's done. You can't enjoy it. So if people order 6 toppings on a pizza of a build your own, we have to dial back because otherwise the structural integrity is just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sucks because then they're getting less for their bang, less
Yeah.
bang for their
Yeah.
buck too. But like,
Yeah.
you know, what are you gonna do? It's
Yeah.
either serve a terrible product or
Yeah.
find that balance
'Cause
somehow.
You have to find the balance on it because if not, it's just gonna be a mess.
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Our servers are pretty good at like advising people in the right direction. We have some like locked and loaded like combinations that they'll like recommend because a lot of times people come in like, oh, like what do you recommend or like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So they have like those ones locked and loaded and stuff. But then if someone's trying to put like hot honey with artichoke and you're just like our servers be like, I don't know if this necessarily makes sense. Why don't you try this?
So they can guide them.
Right.
Like
That's
they
good.
do a good job of like guiding and like in a way that's like friendly and nice and like, you know, it works.
Do you
It
guys take
works.
phone calls still?
No. Well, we do take phone calls, but we don't take phone orders.
Do people ask about the menu and then they're like, do you have fries? Do you have burgers? Do you have,
So
do
many
you have
people.
wings?
The amount of people that call and ask questions that are just on our website just blows my mind. I'm like, I would do as much research as possible
Right.
about something before I called a place. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have a page of FAQs, and I will like literally people like will go down the list and ask the questions.
Ever
And I'm like,
growing.
this is on our website.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are really what people call about, or people will call about the wait list. What does the wait list look like right now? Like we get a lot of those phone calls.
It's like you need a counter or something right on the webpage. It's like the wait is currently at.
I know, but it changes so fast.
Yeah.
It changes so much and so fast. And I have to tell people on the phone too. I'm like, listen, right now it's this, but that could change by the time you get here.
It's got to be doable though. Like when I get my
Yeah.
haircut at Great Clips, you know, you log into the system and it's like you have about a 10-minute wait, and it tells you how many people are ahead of you, and so it's got to be out
Well,
there.
you know what happens is a lot of times, so like on a Friday night, let's say, like I start building my wait list. The wait for 4 people is 2.5 hours. And then once you put people on the list for 2.5 hours and then 2 hours comes up and you text them, they're like, oh, we decided to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then those people that I quoted 2 hours and 45 minutes all of a sudden drop down.
They get bumped up. Yeah.
Yeah, they get bumped up. So then I'm like, oh, I'm texting people in an hour and a half and they were supposed to be waiting 3 hours or whatever, you know? So it's constantly changing, people dropping on, people dropping off. Like it's, I don't know, it's a moving thing. It's tough.
That is tough. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. How do you what system do you use to manage
We use
that?
Open Table.
Open Table.
Yeah. I use Open Table waitlist and Open Table for reservations too.
What do they charge? Or is
lot.
Is it?
Well, so
we've avoided it. So
Yeah.
I'm always curious, like reservation, because I know Yelp has a reservation list too. And
Oh, really?
Well, when I was in San Fran, and I think Yelp came out of San Fran, every restaurant had a Yelp wait list, and you literally walk up to like a little computer in front of the restaurant, and you're like, add your name to the wait list, and it'll tell you how long it'll be, and then I think it auto texts you.
Yeah, it all of them I think auto text like as like you're next up, or it'll say things, you know.
Yeah.
But no, Open Table's been great. We worked out a deal with them that makes sense for us.
That's good.
Just because, you know, when we first started paying, I was like, listen, like I could fill the doors without reservations, without all of this. So we worked out a deal that made sense for us. But most places they charge per reservation, which, you know, for big places, it's a lot of money.
So it sounds like you do not get a charge per reservation.
I do not.
Oh, we'll talk offline.
Maybe we should eliminate that from this because I don't know if I should be disclosing that.
No, you're fine.
So since you could fill the restaurant without any reservations, what is the benefit for the restaurant to do it?
It's nice to be able to have some reservations, just because you do get people that want to have large parties, and for us, large parties is 8 people. We don't do more than 8 people, just because it just eats up too much of the restaurant. You have friends calling, you know, you have people that are like, oh well, it's my mom's 70th birthday, like I've been dying to come, and you know, it's nice to be able to secure tables to a certain extent. But I do keep a decent amount off the books as well, just to be able to like move things around and, you know, accommodate the neighborhood and people walking in. And, you know, we had people this week that were like, we came all the way from Canada, and like, you know, so like you want to be able to get as many people in as you can. And I think that like a combination of reservations and wait lists is the best way to do that, because if people think ahead and, you know, you're like 30 days out, you know, are on there and you book that reservation, like people do that. And I have regulars that come in weekly who I don't make reservations for them. They do it themselves, and they, you know, figured it out and get in. But you know, it's a way to like get everybody what they want in a way.
Would you prefer people make reservations through Open Table or contact you directly? If they know you well enough to contact you directly.
Contact me directly. Okay. Friends and family and stuff, and like industry people, I'm always like, just text me. Yeah. Just text me, like I'll get you in. You know what I mean? And I do leave a lot of wiggle room for that stuff too, because obviously, like, you know, if you were to text me and you're like, you know, me, my wife, and Abby want to come in on Friday, like I have that, you know, like I have that availability. I want to put you in there. But but everybody else, like, you know, for people just trying to get in and stuff, I lead them towards reservations. Parties of 6 to 8, I take those manually because I have to move tables around. Yeah. And then, everything else is wait list. I'm like, just try the wait list.
Grims, you have a reservation system too? Or people are able to order ahead? And
just online ordering, but they could just come in and order. But when we only had a small oven back when we opened, so that was hard. It was like a 2-hour wait for a pizza, and we didn't have no phone numbers, no phone calls or nothing. That was kind of crazy. And we just got another oven, another Blajet that holds more pizzas. So now it's kind of like not that much of a wait. It's so like 30 minutes.
You added an oven, or you
switched out? Okay. I added a bigger oven.
Oh, that's great.
So that helped out a lot. And we never tried the reservation thing. But we should have, I think. It would have made it easier.
How many seats do you have?
We only have like about for 10 people.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not a big space. Yeah.
Did you have reservations at Kim's?
No, we didn't do reservations at Kim's, but we did all of our orders on the phone. And because I actually talked to Francis about this too, because when we first opened Kim's, we only have 8 spots for pizza in the oven there, and that still exists. Like we can only make 8 pizzas at a time. Yeah. And so there was like this system that we figured out, and it's literally like a spreadsheet with all the times, and we basically make X's. So like per slot, you could do like a certain amount of pizzas. So when you call an order, you're like, I want a 5:15 pickup. So you take up like 6 of the spots if you have 6 pizzas. You know what I mean? And so that would kind of like determine the time, and we just create this graph, and you get your pickup time, and it'll be ready at that time. And so that's how we did it there. And doing the phones there, because I did the phones there for a good 2 years. Like the phones were just crazy. And like literally like at 3:00 they would ring and you're like, Kim's, please hold. Kim's, please hold. Kim's, please hold. You do all the lines and then you go back to one.
How many lines did you have?
We have 4 lines.
That's insane.
And so then you go back to one. You're like, take the order. You go back to 2, and then you answer. You put someone on hold on 1 again, and like I seriously felt like an old timey like phone operator. I'm like moving lines around, like it was crazy. But people would be on hold sometimes for a while because you're still trying to take those first orders, and then they would hang up and call back, and I'm like, don't do that because you put yourself at the end of the queue again. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta wait and hold and. It just, it just is what it is. Like that was the best way to do it. And we just found that online ordering didn't work for the burbs. Now we just do online ordering at Pizz'amici. No one answers the phone for orders. If people do call and ask for an order, you direct them to online, and that just creates the queue for you and gives people automated time slots like through Toast. So that's how we do it there. But it just did not work for the burbs. Like you'd get people that were just, calling and like, I don't know how to use a computer. And you're like, okay, well, I'll take your order then. You gotta like, got to do a little bit of that. And so we just stopped doing online orders completely and just went to phones only.
So Kim's is still on the phone system. And just 4 lines, 1 person. 4
lines,
at 3 p.m.
2 people from 3 to 5.
Okay.
And then it drops down to 1 person.
Okay. Because you can clear most of it in that 2-hour time frame.
Because then you start to fill your time slots, and then once people are calling at 5:00 and you're like 8:45 is my pickup. Sometimes those people are like, oh, it's too long. It's fine. Is what it is. But those first 2 hours on the phone are always crazy.
Still like that right now? Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah. I have to, at some point, we have to discuss this. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely. So Paulie has some weird, he has some strange rules where it's like no peas on pizza, no peppers, no poultry.
What kind of peppers?
All peppers?
Like no peppers at all.
Like green peppers?
Yeah, like no peppers.
Oh, wow.
But this is only apply. So my workaround was, okay, we'll do this for your wood-fired pizzas. I'll respect that for wood-fired
that makes
pizzas.
Sense.
Detroit-style pizzas, this is my baby. So we called it the prohibited pepperoni because he didn't allow pepperoni on pizza.
Wow.
We only had sopressata.
That's so interesting, too, for like a New York pizza.
Well, not New York. So it was only for the wood-fired rules. When I
but
first
like his
started
first
working with
place is
Paulie,
in New York, so like, New York's like pepperoni city.
he likes sopressata better, which I can argue. Like I think sopressata probably has more flavor.
Where do you guys get your sopressata?
We get it from a little shop in Jersey. Yeah, and I can't remember the name right now. I have to go look it up. But I haven't ordered in a while. This is why I brought it up. I'm like I should know this. But it's a little sandwich shop in Jersey that produces their own sopressata. It's phenomenal, and we love it. But yeah, so that was that until he opened his New York shop, and then some of the peas went out the door, and then I started adding pepperoni to Detroit and poultry and other stuff. Not really to spite him, but just to push the boundaries a little bit. Yeah. Right. And so, so that's kind of how we started that stuff.
But pineapple's good.
Pineapple. So his rule. Oh yes, thank you for going back to. So his rule was double peas are like a double negative. So then if you do a double pea, it's okay. So pickled pineapple was allowed on wood-fired pizzas.
That's so funny.
So he had a pickled pineapple on pizza, which I know it's a silly rule. That's his thing.
What else do you put on the pineapple pizza?
We've got a couple different ones. So we've got one that has like chili crisp as well, and then we've got one that's just like a really veggie forward one. We used to put it was called a porky pineapple one, and that was the original reason why there were pickled pineapples on a pizza. So that was, I gotta go back and look at my notes because we took that one off the menu. At some point it didn't sell very well, but the pickled pineapple it's nicer. It's not overly sweet, right? And you have that like balance of flavor and acidity on it. So you guys have pineapple on pizzas?
No, we don't have pineapple on the menu. The only time we've done pineapple, we did El Pastor.
Oh yeah,
and pineapple pizza.
Well, that makes sense, right?
Because that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Like the whole like ham and pineapple is going to be a no for me.
Overplayed.
That's going to be a no for me.
Not your thing.
Not for me. But yeah, there was like ways that we were like, how could we take like basically pork and pineapple and like do it in a way that we like it? And so we did the pastor, which was fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have pineapple at the shop.
Is that a personal choice?
I just didn't kind of want it on our menu either, like on our pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would get pineapple, I would like saute it or like give
Like
it some,
grilled
yeah,
pineapple,
grill
like,
it
yeah,
and
that'd
put
be
it
good.
on the pie.
Do you
But
get any requests for it? Do people ever like, do you have
I
pineapple?
don't
at the
think
shop?
we get no request of pineapple.
Interesting.
We've got it like maybe once,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten any pineapple requests.
Yeah.
But it's not offensive to you.
No, I mean I'll put it on there. They want it, but
if it's right, I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, like if it's something that like makes sense, then yeah, sure.
I think it's
Right.
the diehard Italians that are really offended by
Yeah.
pineapple
Yeah.
on pizza.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
But then they'll put fries and hot dog on a pizza in Italy. And it's a
Really?
thing.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've
my God, that's
definitely.
funny.
It's like, or was it ketchup and fries? Maybe it wasn't hot dog. I think it was ketchup and fries on a pizza that I've seen, and it's like commonplace in Italy. I thought.
I don't think so.
Oh no.
So I know that there's this trend of people going around where they put like ketchup on a pizza and like watch the restaurant reaction.
Oh, okay. Maybe
And it's like
that's it.
blasphemy. So I've seen like those kind of videos and stuff where like, yeah, like ketchup and pasta or like, you know, or the cracking of the pasta. Have you seen that? People like
No, what's the? Oh, like you're not supposed to break the pasta. 'cause
breaking
it's
like the
long
spaghetti
life. Yeah.
and like watching like Nona's reaction to that.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I think that's an all culture thing. I mean, Asian culture also, you're not supposed to break that
Yeah.
pasta for sure. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about tuna on pizza? One of the best pizzas I've ever had, it was in Japan.
Yeah.
And they did like a hard sear on the tuna on the pizza at this place called Savoy in Tokyo. And if not for like another chef friend of mine telling me you have to go here, it's amazing, I wouldn't have never even thought about eating tuna on pizza. It doesn't sound like fish and cheese.
Yeah.
But it was like one of the best I've ever had. Have you guys ever?
So how was it? If they hit it a hard sear, they didn't thin slice it. Then it sounds like it was a little thicker.
Yeah, it was
and
like almost
chunkier.
like chunks of tuna. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after.
Was
but
it like cubes? Was it like?
no, it was like
sashimi kind of cut.
kind of like sashimi cut. Yeah, but maybe like a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against it.
I've never tried it, but also, I mean, I feel like you could just leave it to the Japanese to like perfect anything. So
That's
I'm
everything.
sure it's probably
I mean, those shops
done
do
perfectly.
like one thing, right?
Yeah.
Like so many shops out there, just
Yeah.
otaku style. Like
Yeah.
this is all we do.
Well, I think they have failed at Chicago style pizza
In Japan?
In Japan, yeah.
Really?
I don't know if you guys, everyone who's watching, Google like in Tokyo, like a Chicago style pizza place, and it basically looks like a fondue bowl.
Oh, so you're talking deep dish, like
Yeah,
stuffed.
yeah, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but they'll call it like Chicago style pizza.
Yeah.
If like anytime I was there and I told someone I was from Chicago, they'd be like, "Oh, Chicago pizza," like I was their immediate reference. And I saw it and I couldn't eat it because it was like it just looked like a total
Yeah.
abomination to me. There was one where like the entire rim was lined with like strips of raw beef. And then they had like a raw egg in the middle. And then I mean, it's crazy. But the like Neapolitan style pizza in Tokyo, amazing. But what I saw, maybe I would eat it and change my mind. But I think if you guys look it up, you would be disgusted by it.
Have you had durian on pizza yet?
Have what?
Durian on pizza yet? No. You know what durian is?
Yeah, it's really stinky.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
It's an Asian fruit. It looks like a giant. It's like this
Oh
big.
yes, I
and
know.
it's banned on
I
public
know because
transportation.
of Animal Crossing.
I mean, you're getting the cultural reference. That's everything. That's everything. But it's totally banned on public transportation because of how bad it smells.
Oh my God.
Right? But it's this creamy, soft fruit after you
Yeah.
can get through the spiky shell. And I guess it's like a #1 topping in China. So when we were in China last year, I was like, oh, I gotta try it, and we got it from like a local Domino's. Like Domino's carries it.
That's
It's
so
on
funny.
it's on durian style pizza, and it was pretty offensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
we tried. Dennis Lee used to work at our shop, and back when we were super slow, and he would just fuck around on the line. So we brought in a durian, destroyed 2 knives trying to get this thing cut open, and then he soaked the durian in Malort and then put it on a wood-fired pizza, and it was disgusting.
That
It
sounds
was
like something
it
Dennis would
was-
do.
Sounds
it was like
quintessentially Dennis.
after the rain. You know how
Yeah,
your you know how your trash bin smells after the rain after it's like washed through. That's what it smelled like when you were eating that pizza. So it was it was rough. It was rough. But
What was Dennis like as a pizza shop worker?
so he came with no restaurant experience at all. But he was, he joined me early on in my journey because we were friends. We met online. We went to the restaurant show together. And at that point, he was like out of a job. He was looking for a job, and I said, "Hey, why don't you join us?" He was amazing. He's like a good workhorse. He was very team supportive. creative ideas to the crazy limit, right? I feel he sells himself on the nuts and the crazy and the impossible and everything up my ass kind of stuff. But the reality is, like, he really understands flavor and texture, and he's really designed some really great pizzas around what we've done in specials in the past too. Cool. Yeah, so he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal person.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his.
yeah. I mean, I love his writing, and I'm so like writing has always been his primary career goal. So it's nice to see him really starting to blossom in that area more and more.
Shout out to episode 1 of the Another Round podcast. If you haven't seen it, Dennis is on there talking about food writing. All right, so we've talked about all the offensive toppings. Now, if you had to, like, someone came in, you didn't know anything about them, but they're coming into your shop and you just have one chance to give them a pizza to impress them, what are you giving them?
Our Lagunitas and Giardinera pizza.
Oh, so good.
That's one of our top sellers. So I'll definitely tell them that.
Is there anything else on there, or just Lagunitas and Giardinera?
Just Lagunitas Giardinera.
Is that a top seller for you?
Yeah, that's our top seller.
We had Longanisa on one of our pizzas right when we opened in 2016, and it just did not sell. And at some point, we were just throwing away so much waste.
Yeah, Filipino food's way more popular now.
Yeah.
I feel like they say that every year, though, right? Like every decade, it's like, oh, Filipino food's coming up. Filipino food's coming up.
I don't know. There's so much happening right now in like the Filipino food scene.
The Filipino
here.
bakeries are exploding.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones now.
And I mean, Kasama obviously blowing that whole thing up. Like you should bring it back.
I think it's never been more popular.
Yeah.
Our biggest issue was we were doing a longanisa pizza, and then we were making the I forgot the name of it. It's like the tomato and the onion with the
vinegar
with the sweet rice vinegar, and then we would take a yolk, egg yolks, and reduce them, and then we would drizzle it on top. So it was basically like a replay on like a full longanisa breakfast. And the egg yolk we had to make every other day because it would just start, and then we would toss so much of it because it was going bad. We couldn't sell enough of it. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have to try again.
Do you guys make your own longanisa?
We place an order somewhere, but it's custom for us. Yeah,
secret spot.
Yeah.
What about Giardinera? Who you guys use?
We use Caruso.
Okay.
JP.
We use Caruso as well. There's so much good Giardinera in Chicago.
I know there's so much good Giardinera.
It's like even some of the old school stuff, but like the new school stuff, JP.
Yeah,
he's making. I mean, Caruso's. They're making great Giardinera for sure.
What about you guys?
We use JP guys.
Or what pizza would you make?
Oh, pizza. Right now, we just put jalapeno on the menu.
Ooh, pickled, regular,
fresh. Put on fresh, pepperoni and hot honey. That's like our current favorite right now. Yeah,
it's a good combo.
So good.
That sounds
spicy, sweet.
Is it on your set menu? Or is that just like your custom? Like,
just
this
custom,
is my
custom. That's one of the recommendations that we make. Sausage Giardinera is a recommendation that we make. Those are probably our two biggest sellers. Yeah. Those two right there. Yeah.
What about Paulie G's?
So at the Logan Square location, our top seller is the U.S. Pizza Cup winner.
Do you think it's the best pizza there?
Do I think it's the best? It would be the one that if I knew nothing about a person and they came in, it has a huge variety of textures and flavors and stuff like that I would say that would be the one that I would start them with.
Can you describe that pizza for people that don't know?
Sure. It's a Detroit style pizza. We use white cheddar on the edge. We put down pepperoni and house-made bacon jam. So the bacon jam adds a little bit of sweetness, pepperoni, more saltiness. And then we bake it off with the mozzarella. And then we finish it when it comes out with lines of fresh tomato sauce, the sweeter sauce, a little bit of ricotta, a little bit of Parmesan, fresh basil, and then hot honey all over it. So multiple elements of sweetness, saltiness, texture. I did not expect it to stay on the menu. When we first introduced it, it was meant to be a monthly special. And then a lot of people kind of said, if you take this off the menu, we're never coming back. So then we left it on. It's grown. It's done really well. So well that our guys at the Wicker Park store made a pizza to make fun of it called the Logan Zaddy. And it's meant to be like, to make fun of the fact how well that one's doing. So it's like a total opposite pizza. It's more sweet on the sauce and a little bit like it goes in a total different direction. But that's definitely the one I would probably go with. Yeah.
When I was doing research for this episode, I went on like the Pizza Cup website thing. It looked like it hadn't been updated since 2022. Is it over or?
No, they still do it. So that's, U.S. Pizza Cup folks, you guys need to really work on your social media. Call out.
Social presence.
No, they're definitely still there. It's it's like a one to two man shop, and they don't do a great job of like keeping updated on it. And so, it's tough. Like all of us here too. That's like, how do you stay on top of social media? It's like a whole nother job.
Hard. It's so hard.
It's a couple hours a day.
Since we opened, our social media has taken a hit. But I mean, it's really hard to like constantly be creating content and stuff like that. And I feel like I really have like very specific, like a specific vision for what I want for it. So like if I can't do it right, like I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
So then I just go to like reposting stories all the time. Like that's it. But I mean, I try, but it's hard. It's really hard to keep up with everything.
It is. Do you handle your social media or is it Francis that's doing it? Or?
No, one of Ryan's brothers.
Okay.
Those are social media, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do everything.
It's hard to do everything for sure.
But you have a social media manager for every concept, right? I thought I was listening to Francis's episode, which is cool.
That is cool,
I've always been like, do we hand off social media? But then I feel like you lose your personal voice.
Your voice a little,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys use influencers at all? Have you ever? What do you guys think about
We are just starting to a little bit now. We've had some good and poor experiences mixed. Our stance has always been, if you've never been in the shop before, we're not going to work with you. Like, you need to come in naturally, try our food, decide that you like it, and then we can have a conversation. We've paid for an influencer one time, and the result was okay. So we're kind of like, you know what? We don't really want to pay for influencers anymore. We're happy to bring influencers. Well, I used to have a hard line, like, I feed my family. My staff need to feed their family. No one eats for free. Like, my grandma, my mom comes in, whoever, they all don't eat for free. They'll get treated really nicely. If they're an investor, they got 50% discount as well. But, like, no one ate for free. Now I'm starting to cross that border a little bit. We're starting to bring in a couple influencers and say, listen, you can come in, you'll eat for free, and then, you have to do a promotion for us or whatever it's going to be. But it crosses that weird ethical line at that point, right? Which is why we like to naturally, like, hey, if you like us already, let's have a conversation, as opposed to someone reaching out and being like, I'm trying to grow, or hey, I'm a big influencer, I've never had your pizza before, I'd love to come by and get comped a whole meal. And I know there's like, at least in the food, there's been a couple influencers out there that have been paid to come in, and they left like terrible reviews because of some type of dispute, right?
Yeah,
that's been a growing issue too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discourse about that.
Yeah. I've never brought, well, I guess I've never paid influencers to come in. The only influencer that I've ever brought in is Sarah, Girl About Chicago, and she's a friend. And so I invited her to friends and family. But she was the only influencer that was invited to friends and family. And I've known her since we were doing Eat Free Pizza. So she's always followed us. And it was kind of one of the things, like, she has followed us from the beginning. So like I brought her in just like as a friend. But as far as like paying anybody else to come in, I haven't. I get a lot of requests.
Absolutely.
I get a lot of requests just even for reservations. Like, hey, I'm an influencer. Like, can I just get a reservation? And I'm like, sorry, we're not doing like any influencer collaborations right now. If I change my mind in the future, I'll let you know. Like, I just leave it like that all the time, just like in a nice way. But
do you ever check just to see like how much influence they might have?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is there like
like
a crossing line? Is there like a line you're like, you know what, maybe we can bring you in type of deal? Because it sounds like you're not working with anyone right now, but I'm always curious, like if it was like someone that had 200,000 followers and fairly active account, would that persuade you a little bit?
I don't know. I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I've gotten some people with like a lot of followers.
Yeah.
I did make an exception for Gordon Ramsay, but of course, who's not going to do that?
Gordon Ramsay was at your shop.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was that?
He was so nice. Like, he was really nice. He came in with his assistant and with his bodyguard. I think it was his bodyguard. And his assistant just like messaged me in the afternoon and was like, Gordon's in town. Like, he really wants to try your restaurant. Can we get a reservation for tonight? And I was like,
think it was real?
I was like, yeah.
Was it like clearly obvious it was Gordon Ramsay, or was it like, is this real?
At first, like when I read the email, I kind of had like tunnel vision, like how that happens. Because I was just like, I like read Gordon Ramsay. I'm like, wait, is this for real? And I was like looking in like the email and everything, and I'm like, I think this is for real. So I was like, so I made them a reservation. That's the only time I've done that. But that's Gordon Ramsay. How am I going to tell Gordon Ramsay no?
Right. I mean,
You
could.
I mean, but I did make a
Restaurant
reservation.
denies Gordon Ramsay.
I know. I do make exceptions for certain people though. Like I get a lot of things. Like I've gotten people reaching out. Like I really tried getting a reservation. Like my wife's going into labor. Like can we please come in? And I'm like, okay. Like there's certain things where I'll like give people, a reservation or whatever. But I try to limit it because it's a slippery slope. Like once you start, it's hard to like, and
Stop it.
Yeah. And I really want to like, it's kind of like the eat free pizza thing too. Like I really want to give everybody like equal opportunity, but then I do make like little exceptions here and there. Like I'll make an exception for like a 70th birthday party or something like that, so I don't know.
If whoever emailed you for the Gordon Ramsay thing, if when they showed up it wasn't Gordon Ramsay, would you have turned them away?
I would have been mad. No, I wouldn't have turned them away, but I would have been mad. I would have been like, that's shady.
Did Gordon feature your restaurant?
Yeah.
Did he?
He posted on Instagram about it.
A story?
A post.
Oh, a full
like
post.
A main
Wow.
feed. It was like his trip to Chicago, and there was
Okay.
like a couple restaurants. I think he went to Oriole, and I think he went to a couple places, and posted his places too, like his Naperville spot that just opened up, or Schaumburg or Naperville.
Oh, that's right, Naperville.
Yeah, so it was like a series post of like his trip to Chicago, and like we were included in that. But
I gotta check it. Are you in there?
no, it's the pizza. It's a picture of the pizza. Yeah, but we're tagged and stuff. So I was like, and he was really nice, honestly. Like he was very complimentary and like just couldn't believe that we had no previous restaurant experience, and it was just very gracious.
No idiot sandwich moments.
No, thank God. Thank God.
Did it make an impact on your social media?
Not really.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why I'm just like, I don't know, these like social like influencers and like collaborations and stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. Like I do things because I want to do them or because I think that they'll be fun or whatever, you know, like I only do things that I want to do. And so, I don't know. I just feel like we've always been that way, and I don't want to like change who we are, for certain things. But I don't know. That was pretty cool though.
So what made me decide to start tiptoeing over the line was we recently started working with Gangnam Market for AAPI. We did the crab ragoon and the kimchi ranch pizza, and they know how to work their influencers. Like they have influencers coming in, trying the newest product, the newest popsicle, an ice cream that you can't get from anywhere except them type of deal. And then when we started launching the pizza, I was like, oh, like there's an actual drive. Like we saw significant metric movement inside our followers and people messaging and coming to try stuff. And then we had guests coming into our main shop and saying, oh yeah, I tried the pizza there. I got to come try the OG location. So that kind of, because
cool.
I used to be super like against the whole influencer culture. We worked with, like I said, we work with influencers that naturally came in, said hi, got to know them. But otherwise now I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something here that makes sense. But, like I said, our one paid influencer experience, I'm kind of like, this was not worth what we had done. So,
Right.
What about you guys?
Yeah, we don't do the influence thing. Like if they come, they come. But like if they want us to pay them, I'm like, dude, you got to try my pizza first. Like, but no, I don't think we do. We'll pay somebody to come by.
Well, and it's so hard, right? Like, I feel like the lowest, most people are like, at minimum, it's like a $500 for a collab on a reel is what I'm seeing.
I know,
right?
it's crazy.
And so if you think about like our restaurant margins, like if we're doing well, that's 10%. If we're doing like really well, maybe we'll hit 15% margin. So what does that mean? That means that on a $20 pizza that we sell, 10%, we're taking in like 20 cents, right? Like profit margin. Did I do that? No. I'm sorry, $2. Thank you. My math is off. But $2. So how many pizzas do we have to sell to make up that $500?
Yeah.
250 pieces.
That's insane, right? Like, can they actually drive 250 pizzas worth of sale?
Yeah.
I'd say no. There's
Yeah.
just no way, right?
Yeah.
So it's just,
crazy.
it doesn't make sense. But if they want to come, like, have a free meal on us type of deal because they want to do a feature, our food cost is definitely way more approachable, right? So
that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Or just secure the reservation, maybe.
Just right?
Give them a
Secure the
reservation.
reservation.
Yeah, I just haven't done anything. We're not at that point yet, I guess. Like, still pretty new and stuff like that. But it is funny reading like all of the comments and stuff that are like, how much do they pay influencers and how much do they pay their PR team and stuff?
Do you have a PR team?
It's literally me and my thumbs fighting for our life
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Like that is it. And so like it's so funny when people are like, yeah, like they must have like a crazy PR team and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even really like post that much. Like I don't really do that much. Like I don't know. And I think a lot of people think that we pay influencers and we, pay a lot of people to come in, and
Right.
it's just not true.
It's just what we do.
We just have a really small restaurant.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's
You have a
it.
small restaurant and you have amazing product.
A good product, yeah,
Right.
and that's it.
And when word gets around that you're the hardest reservation to get, everyone wants to get in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel so old right now. I'm like, oh, we don't have those days anymore. It's not as crazy for sure. So
Yeah, but it's like, it's nice to be at a place where you're dialed in and you're just like doing you and you have your customers, and like that's a good feeling,
it is.
It's a really good feeling.
It's kind of like at that point you're kind of like, okay, well, do we take that next step? Like, what's the next thing to do? Do I have the team members that want to grow into a next step? And that's kind of like what we've been doing slowly. Like,
Yeah.
what's the goal? What's the next 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goal for the spot? So
Yeah.
Any final pizza thoughts that you want to communicate to consumers of your pizzas that is not totally obvious?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Or maybe like if any like misunderstandings about pizza or your restaurant that maybe you see online.
our biggest debated issue is our service charge. We do a 20% service charge at Logan, 15 at Wheeling and Wicker Park, and we got bashed hard on Reddit for it. I think mostly because we do a 20% service charge also on pickup of pizzas, and people are always like, this is terrible. Just build it into your cost, this and that. Be transparent. For me, the 20% and the 15% is transparency.
That's what I was just about to
Right?
say. I feel like that is the transparency.
And that
Yeah.
we charge that, and 100% of that goes to our staff. Like I don't touch any of that. That goes straight to our staff equally across the board for everyone that worked that day. So it's like our dishwasher, our pizza maker, our host are all getting an equal percentage of that cut. And this way it doesn't intermix with our company funds. Everyone's always like, build it into your cost. But I feel like the complainers, if I built it in the cost, it would make us look even more expensive, and they're going to complain about us being too expensive. So I feel like it's a no-win battle.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to create a company culture where like our staff are paid really well, and part of that is a mix of the hourly mixed with the service charge as well.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Like our staff at Logan average over like $30-$31 an hour on. And our other shops somewhere between like 25 to 28, depending on the day and what's going on. On a really good day, like we have a wedding coming up where they're making $75 an hour, which is nuts. But that's great because we have to travel, we have to build, we have to get things ready, and it's a special event, and we're doing full service there. So it's good for our staff. It's just hard because I think a lot of people don't like the idea of service charge, and I get it. I think for us, we just have to. I don't know if we have to keep working on trying to get the message across sooner and getting the staff to talk about it more, or people just don't believe like 20% service charge is reasonable for a pickup, which I mean, I kind of get, but also, it's not like we just pulled this out of the freezer and threw it in a box for you. Like this is someone made that dough, someone
Everything
cut that
is handmade,
cheese, someone
yeah.
like everything is touched by multiple staff members who are getting paid for their job.
Yeah.
So if you choose to dine in, it's a 20% service charge. If you choose to pick up, I've kind of like debated, do we reduce the service charge? Because there is like, you're not having a server, you're not having a bartender necessarily wait on you, but still 80% of the staff is still touching that pizza in some fashion or another, and there's someone to box it up and all this other stuff. So I don't know. Do you guys do service charges at your restaurants?
We don't do service charge, but I'm not opposed to places that do a service charge.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I get the little tip thing and it says 20% on there, I'm still adding on top of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were joking with some people the other day, and I was like, I would literally like tip at Home Depot if there was a tip line. Like I just like, I don't know. I'm just like a tipper.
You have a generous soul.
I just do. I always like, I tip 20% on takeout, even when it's not required. Like I just always have. And I think it just comes from like working in the service industry, right? Like we're service industry workers. We know what that means, and we know what that means to our staff. Yeah. And we do the same thing. We pool the house. Everybody makes a cut, from the dishwashers to, all the line cooks, the host, everybody. Well, not the host, I guess that's me. I don't get the tip pool, but like if I were to bring in a host, like they would be part of that too. Like everybody makes a cut of that. And yeah, like you said, like it is the same. It's about $35 an hour for our workers. And
Yeah.
I mean, we pay, minimum wage base pay, which what is it right now? $16.50.
$16.45.
Okay, we do $16.50. But it's like, I can't imagine living on that. Like who can live on $16.50?
It's impossible.
And so like tips make up for that, or you are building it in your costs, and we already are, one of the things we hear back all the time is like, oh, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. And it's like, but you're paying for everything. Like you're paying for the linens that are on the table. You're paying for, everybody that's there and talking to you and greeting you and, all the dishes and, it's all part of it. It's all part of the experience. And it's all, like you can't build all that into your food. It would just be astronomical. And then what people are supposed to tip on top of that too. Like it's just, I feel like the 20% is transparency. We don't do an auto service charge, but I'm not opposed to places that do. I think it should be par for the course, to be honest.
It's a hard market right now, right?
It's really
and
hard,
Chicago's, added a lot of rules that make it tough. It's like the guaranteed sick time, the guaranteed PTO, all these other things. And I'm not opposed to it. I think it's great, right? This is great because everyone deserves sick time. Everyone deserves vacation time that they can be able to step away and still be able to make money and, be able to be on vacation and not be like counting every single dollar down.
Yeah.
But that being said, like we just talked about this. Like if we're running a good shop, we're at 10% margin. So now you're going to take and add all this extra money that we have to pay out to staff members, but not give us any relief on the back end. You just drove our margin down even further, right? I mean,
and restaurants just surviving is just, it's a really hard time in general. And there's so much that's like unprecedented and like unpredictable. And in the upcoming years, like we don't really know what to expect. And I don't know, it is just like a scary time, and you have to make sure that you're taking care of your people and, you're taking care of your house.
Yeah,
definitely.
Everyone's trying to take care of themselves, right?
Yeah.
Inflation's gone crazy, and
food costs is insane.
Like it's expensive to go to the grocery.
Insane.
Eggs were nuts. Everything's nuts, right? So eating out is also nuts. It's like, people are going out less, and it's getting to be a tougher market. I feel like I've seen more restaurant closures this year
I know.
across the nation than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time for sure. And how do you prevent the death spiral, right? You can't keep raising prices.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pay your staff less. That doesn't make sense, especially if they've been with you for 9 years,
Forever,
loyal and all that stuff. Like so it's a weird market.
It's a weird time. Yeah.
Support your local restaurants.
Please.
Tip your servers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for doing this. This has been episode 2 of the Another Round podcast covering pizza. So my wife says I have to do an outro. So this is the end of the episode. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Mitch.
you. Thanks for having us.